Hello, and we couldn't cross to the other island because the sea is impossible. So you know, it's such a huge tide. It's a very strong sea current. So yeah, I tried going there, but instead I will be showing you how it is to camp with a cheap tent. So most of you probably have like some professional tents, something quite expensive, for example, or even if you have medium range tent. This is not it. This is like this costs, or at least it costed when I bought it, 17 euros, 18 euros. That's like 20 something dollars, and I'm going to show you now how it works and the things you can do, and if it's a good idea to buy one of these tents, just for something quick, something fast. First of all, you can see that if there is some wind, you're going to need some reinforcement, some frame, and if you don't want to watch the video till the end, which I don't recommend, but anyway, I will tell you that, this type of tent is okay for something very fast. Like, the cheapest type of tent you can buy will take you out of some problem, or, it will be cool for some small adventure. But if I were you, I would find something to put on top of it. Imagine that instead of this light rain, we had something stronger. In that case, you would need to cover the frame of the tent. It's one of these tents that have like this X frame. This is for you to have air inside. And this thing is supposed to cover that part. And you would put it here. This thing would go here. And the same way for the other side. So what I would do is, on top of this thing, I would put something else, like anything that can help provide more structure would be okay, because as you can see, this type of thing, it prevents from some water. But for example, if you had some plastic that doesn't sound too much with the wind, you would be able to sleep without too many problems. And now we are inside the tent. I have to do this quickly because camping in Spain is forbidden. And now you will be like, oh, but you promised, you told us that we could go to that island and we could camp there. Why would you lie? I believed in you. Why? And yeah, it's true. I thought that you could camp because I thought we were living in a free country, but apparently that's not the case in Spain. And it's one of the most restrictive legislations that you can find in Europe. So, in every law they say that, because it goes by different regions, and in every law it says to promote quality tourism, we don't allow free camping. You need to go to a camping site and pay and blah blah blah. And I think it's the opposite, because the people who need adventure in their lives are usually the ones that have a more stable financial situation. I guess that if you're working in a zoo or something, you wouldn't actually enjoy the nature as much as you would enjoy. I don't know if I am making myself this preconception that, if you're camping, you're probably low class tourism. We don't want you here. So I think it's totally wrong and blah blah blah, and you know that. But anyway, let's go on with the tent, because I want to show you that this thing, it works quite okay. It's like the air comes in. It's actually quite comfortable. And remember that this is like a $20 tent, adjusted for inflation, because I have this tent for 15 years. Yeah, lots of adventures with this tent. So the first thing I want you to notice is this thing. It reminds you of something, doesn't it? It's like, oh yes, it reminds me. It certainly does. So you could double this thing. Like you could buy a $20 or a 17 euro tent. Let's say 20 euros, $25, adjusted for today. You can see that the wind is moving the frame of the tent. So if you could find something to block at least two of the walls, like, if you could go against some type of structure or a tree or something, like, keep in mind that it shouldn't have coconuts or anything like that, so that you don't, this wouldn't stand a coconut falling. It has a little pocket here. It's quite comfortable for some weapon or some if you want to store something there. It's very cool. But the main thing that I want to tell you is that this thing is the same material that you can find in the bags from IKEA, so, or any other type of bag like that. So if you buy, or if you have at home 2 or 3 of those bags and you break them, if you're ready to break them and stuff, you could probably cover with one bag until here with 2 bags, and the third bag you could basically make a second floor for the tent. And it's actually very, very cool, because then you would have like more protection from the. Right now, I don't notice the cold, but keep in mind that it's raining just a bit. So if you're going to some place where it rains more, it might be a good idea to have like a cheap second floor. And I know that now you're thinking like, wait, but if when I camp, I spend like 50 euros and I can have, or like $70 or whatever. Like, yeah, that's not my point. My point is like, what can we do with the cheapest possible tent? And I have been using this tent for some time. I have seen all the possibilities, and I can tell you that, with a few adjustments that wouldn't cost a lot of money, you could have a very high quality tent. Keep in mind that my hand is dry. You can hear the rain already for some time. My hand is dry. This thing, I didn't even close it properly, and it's not, like the rain is not coming. And what I also want to show you is like, the amount of rain that the tent is receiving. And on top of that, I wanted to show you the space. That one of these tents is like for 2 people. It's not for 2 people. Like, you would need to be kind of like hugging or something. Keep in mind that my bag is little, and maybe 2 people fit here, but you would be breathing on each other's necks. So I wouldn't recommend it. It's like, this is I guess this is good for 1 person, 2 people, but keep in mind that it's not the most comfortable. You have a space to store like the bag or anything. Like, it doesn't bother me when I sleep. If I had a rucksack or a backpack, it would be like, a bigger one. It would be taking more space, but not that much. Like, I have slept here comfortably. And with the thing off the floor and something to cover the tent, I think you would be set. And when I say something to cover the tent, I mean something like... Wait, it was here. Where are you? No, come on. One of these bags. You know that I love these bags because I mentioned it in another video. One of these big garden bags or a couple of them. You can have with this thing. Like the rain wouldn't be able to do anything with this plastic. It's cheap plastic, and it can increase the rain protection a lot. So it's like for $2 extra, you can have all the plastic that you require to wrap the thing around. Keep in mind that it would sound a bit, so it would make a bit of noise. And if I were here, like for example, if I were to stay here, if this, for example, were an area where where I could camp, it isn't. But if it were, what I would do is like to take something that, to find something that could protect me at least from one side. So I would see where the wind is coming from. Right now I'm in the middle of all the currents, all the drafts, everything. But for example, this place would be, as you can see, more protected than this one here. I'm just, showing you here the thing, because this would be a slope and everything. But imagine if you had a double floor and you put it there with the bags from IKEA, and you put the tent on top, and then you have like something to put, like you imagine you have your sleeping bag and all that stuff. It would be quite comfortable. I have tried this tent for some time, and yeah, I can tell you that it's not as bad as it seems. So, in my opinion, it's worth it to buy a cheap tent. Just if you have an emergency, a guest, if you just if you want to travel, because you could get rid of this thing very easily. Like I'm going to break it soon, maybe today even. Yeah, let's break it. Why not? I'll show you what you can do. Imagine that you. Okay, so let's imagine that you reach the end of your trip, and now you're like, hey, you know what? I'm tired of this thing. I don't need it anymore. And keep in mind that the wind here is very strong, so it's like, hey, the tent is moving. So yeah, the tent is moving, but it wouldn't be moving as much down there. The sea current is so strong because there is also like wind. But in normal circumstances, it wouldn't be bothering so much. So keep in mind that the wind should be limited. What do I want to show you? That when you have a cheap tent like this, by the way, this thing is like protecting you from mosquitoes and all that. It works very well. I don't have any complaint against this thing. But what I could do now, let's imagine that I want to get rid of the tent, as it happens in real life, because I don't need this tent anymore. That's why I'm showing you that. For example, let's see what we could do if we took this net. We could probably fish with it. I have tried this in the past, and I'm going to show you a couple of methods. Okay.